Welcome to the Master Passive Income Show. My name is Dustin Heiner, and I'm here to help you learn how to get financial independence, quit that JOB by investing in real estate, and never work a job again. Today, I'm super excited to have somebody who is an investor. He came to RubeCon in 2022. He's coming to RubeCon 23, and more than likely will be in his neck of the woods in 2024, which he'll be able to come to that, as well as he's a part of the membership that we have at Master Passive Income and is doing a fantastic job in his business. Super excited to have Jacob Smith. Jake, thank you so much for being on the show, man.
Thanks, Dustin. I appreciate you having me.
And this is so cool. So, well, first, I want to ask, how did you find Master Passive Income? Because a lot of people find me and us through the podcast, and now you're on the podcast, which is so fun.
Yeah, so actually back in 2020, as a lot of us had a lot of time to really think and reflect, I started getting into day trading and trying that. And, after making some money and losing some money, I realized that it was really difficult to do with a full-time job. And I started reading more and more books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad and Richest Man in Babylon, Think and Grow Rich. And it kind of opened up my eyes to real estate. And then ended up just stumbling upon your podcast. I think it was maybe Spotify or something. And then I started listening to your videos, and I really liked how you were just really down to earth, and you're really just truly out there trying to help people. And I figured, why not give this a shot? It seems like it would be a lot easier than day trading was for me. So
I agree. I actually lose lots of money day trading. I literally lose money. So I don't do any of that stuff. I tried it, and I just found what moves the slowest is real estate. What makes me the most money is real estate. What I do the least amount of work is in real estate. And then you came to RubeCon this last year in 2022. That was fun to be able to hang out with you. And same thing, 23, you're bringing your dad, which is going to be super awesome to have him there as well. And just really see that normal everyday people, regular people can do this. So this is fantastic. And with that, you started with the membership that we have with the coaching and everything, and you started getting success. Talk to us about what really got you, because you want to invest, you were looking at day trading. What made you really make that shift into saying, I want to invest in real estate and I can do it, and let me start moving forward with it?
Yeah, I think for me, the biggest thing was I felt like I didn't have a ton of control, like just working a 9-to-5 job. You don't have that much control over your income or your time. And, I really wanted to take advantage of being young and starting off right, and really, and reading all those books and everything, and listening to your podcast, that kind of opened my eyes to it's really achievable to build a bigger life, and, a lot faster than I thought. You don't have to have a ton of money to get started or anything like that. So I just started looking at ways that I could get started with what resources I had, and what knowledge I had. And my parents, I knew that they had flipped houses before and were involved in real estate, so I knew I could lean on them for advice and stuff too. And I really wanted to give it a shot because I felt like the numbers were there, and I really liked how you could control the equity when you buy the property, how you can control the cash flow, and you can really, the numbers going into an investment ahead of time. So I really like that aspect of it.
That's great. And knowing the expenses going into it, knowing the income that you should hopefully be able to get because you have the right people in your business, because, we always build the business first so that other people do the work for us. Okay, so talk to me about getting your first property. Would you mind sharing where it was or it is? The specifics of it, if you are okay to share how much you bought it for, if you captured any equity in that and passive income that you're making from it.
Yeah, sure. I love talking about the numbers. But this property, my first property, was in Lansing, Michigan. And I'd been looking, so I live in Battle Creek, so I've been looking in Battle Creek and Kalamazoo and Lansing. And, at my price point, I only had about $25,000 that I could use to invest, just that, my wife and I have saved up. And from a small loan for my 401k. So I kind of had an idea of, if I had to put 20% down and had to do a little bit of renovation stuff, what my numbers would be. And the properties in Lansing were relatively inexpensive for the amount that I could get for rent. So even though it was like 45-minute drive for me, I still felt like it was a good investment. But the first property I found was listed at, I think, 92,000, and I offered 81,000. They countered with 85, and I accepted. And houses in the neighborhood fixed up are probably going for maybe like 120, 130. So this one needed a little bit of work. And I probably put maybe, I don't know, 7, 8,000 into it, just between flooring, carpet, paint, redoing the porch columns and the porch railing, then like appliances and stuff like that. So it really wasn't too bad. And all my expenses on that property, I think, are around 920, and that's with a property manager. And right now it's renting out for 1,400 a month.
Whoa, that is so awesome. Good for you, Jacob. Go ahead. I mean, you got more numbers I know you share. So, like property management, taxes, and stuff like that, everything's all included. And then, how much equity did you capture?
So I think I haven't refinanced it yet, but I was hoping to refinance it this year. Probably right after I close on my next one, I'll probably start that process. But I'm hoping if it appraises for 130, if they're able to do 80% of that, I'll be able to pull out maybe 20 to 30,000 again. So I should be able to pull out most of my money back out of the deal, and then use that to buy another property.
So you have $500 a month in passive income. I mean, that's super, or close to it. At least $400 a month in passive income, or close to it. And that is fantastic. And you do have equity in the property that you're gonna be able to pull money out to buy your next property. Man, this sounds like this is not. I mean, when we look at baseball terms for investing in real estate, we usually think, okay, a single, you get $250 a month of passive income, you capture maybe $10,000 in equity, you can refinance it. It seems like this is at least a double, if not a triple, like in baseball terms. Like it could be even a home run if you are able to finish it out, pull that cash back out to buy the next property, and then you have literally, in my opinion, a home run. So that is phenomenal. What are your thoughts about that process, and what did you learn throughout the entire process?
Well, it was more challenging than I thought it was, and more stressful. And more so it was just because of the stress that other people put on me, and it was just kind of the feeling of doubt, and when I didn't have many people to rely on to do it the right way, and I'd heard tons and tons of stories about how people invested in real estate the wrong way and got burned, and I just wanted to really make sure that I was safeguarding myself against all those. So, I really wanted to find a property that I knew was in a good area, and that was I was buying at a good value. So that way, I had an exit strategy if I needed to, if I wanted to get out. And that was really important for me. So it took longer to find the property, and to settle on something that I really liked. But all in all, I think it being more secure, or I guess more cautious, made me get a better investment, I think.
I 100% agree. In fact, I don't like taking risks. A lot of people say, oh, it's risky to invest in real estate. Well, in my opinion, it's actually not risky, because if you know your business, if you know how to make money when you're investing, or any business in general, if you know your business, you're not necessarily taking a risk. Now, there are risks, but in my opinion, it's so much more risky working for somebody else who could literally take away your job in 2 seconds. Just like if you were thinking about in the business idea, if you're going to buy a candy bar for $1 and you have the most you can sell it for is 75 cents, well, you'd lose money. You buy it for $1, sell it for 75 cents, you'd lose 25 cents. Why would you do that business? That's risky, because you're hoping, it's just not going to work. But what we do is we make sure that we're making money because it's a business that we're creating, and our inventory is the properties. So this is fantastic. Now, when you say it was harder, was it because finding the right contractors, harder than you thought, the right contractors, right people doing the work, maybe getting lining up the financing? What was it harder, and then how did you overcome that?
Yeah, I think for me, the most difficult part is probably the financing. Um, so I was trying really hard to find somebody who would do below 20% down. So I really wanted to try to save as much money as I could. And I found a couple different options. One was like a hard money lender, and that was 10% down, but they'd cover the rehab. But I ended up taking your advice, and you told me that there were some lenders, and I think you mentioned a couple that were able to do a conventional 15% down. And so that saved me a lot in closing costs and interest only payments. And just, it cost me a tiny bit more upfront, maybe, but it was definitely worth it. So yeah, finding the right lender and then going through that whole process of um, due diligence and stuff on their end, it just it was a little more stressful than I thought, trying to manage phone calls and stuff at work and trying to set that up. But just every day on my lunch break, I'd be talking to somebody, or I'd be looking at properties ahead of time. And so yeah, just juggling all that was a little bit more than I thought. But now that I've done it, I already know all these different connections that I can use and all these tools, and it just made it so much easier to get the next one.
It's like when you build the business, you get the right people inside the business working for you. And it's just, let me get another one and have you do the work. Now, you're right. And for everybody, it's always the hardest to build that business to get the right people. Because some people you might think is right, they let you down, or they just, something, life comes up and they can't do it, or whatever it might be. But once you actually have that team, and then you do everything like you have, now you successfully have a property making you money and passive income. I mean, $400 a month, that's absolutely amazing. What does that come out to? $4,800 a year in passive income. And this is just a start. Rents will go up. Imagine 10 years from now, it'll probably be at $1,500, $1,600 a month in passive income, maybe even 17, if not more. And you're just gonna be making that much more money. So that is terrific. And then you're 100% right. And so what we do with all of our students, and obviously you're a part of the community that we have. And so what I love to do is just share with you guys what I do in my business, the contacts, like the financing companies, the property managers, I share that. But then also what's so great, other students just like you, and you know this, I'm just saying this for everybody listening, other students just like you they've already done it, build their businesses, find the right contacts, and we bring them all together. Like say, meaning, hey, who did you use for property manager in what city? They'll tell, like the students say, in this city, I'm using this property manager. I'm like, great, let's make a list so we can give it to everybody else so that we can help each other out. Same thing with financing. I have a laundry list of different financing companies that the students can use to call them up that have already done good for our other students. So talk to me about having a community of other people, and obviously coming to RubeCon, be a part of that community, but also the Master Passive Income community, and having other people, and especially somebody like Charles, who's been through this. He's helped so knowledgeable. He's coaching now, and then myself walking you through the process and giving you the steps. Talk to me about that process to help you get over hurdles and roadblocks and things like that.
Yeah, I think just being able to bounce ideas off of people, and you can even talk to people about like your very specific situation. And I think that's definitely a huge benefit, because everybody has like a little bit different circumstances, and they know, generally like what the ideal scenario is, but it doesn't work like that for everybody. So yeah, it definitely helps, even just listening to how other people handle situations that I haven't come across. It just plants that seed in your mind, so you know ahead of time, what to look out for. And um, it's been really cool too to see, some of the students. I think you had Josh on here and everything. I think when I first talked to him, RubeCon, I think he maybe only had like one property or two at the time, and now I think he has four or five.
If I
So
remember, Josh didn't have any. I mean, if I could be wrong, but I could have swore he didn't have any. And he right at Rubicon, he's like, I'm gonna do it. And now he's got, like you said, 4 or 5 properties. And it's getting the momentum from other people, like getting their energy and their wins and realizing I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It pushes me to to work faster and work harder and do that too. And just being able to be a part of a community too. You know, it's hard to find other people who are doing this, and even at a larger scale. You know, there's lots of people that might have one property that they rent to family or something, but not many people that do it as a business and that do it really successfully. So it's really nice being able to talk to people who have, you know, been through what you're going to go through and who have done it the right way and know how to protect themselves. So it definitely is a huge help and definitely a big motivator too.
Yeah, 100%. And one thing I would love to do when we get on the group coaching calls is start with the wins. You know, what wins do people have? And it's not, I mean, of course, a huge win is getting your first property, and that's great. That's a huge, amazing win. But there's so many little wins along the way. Everything from starting your LLC, getting your EIN number, starting your bank account, finding the city to invest in, finding a right property manager, contractors. Like, there's so many little wins along the way. And as we get reminded that every step is another step towards the end goal, I think if you're running a race, you got to start. And every single step is going to get you closer to that goal. Now, talk to me about, now that you've done it one time and now it's trying to scale to where you're going to continually buy properties. Talk to me about your vision of what you're going to do. Now, you have one property, you have multiple, or is it you have one and now you're going to get to the next one soon?
Yeah, I was hoping to be able to close on my next property last week, but it got pushed out. So I'll actually be closing on that one tomorrow. But
oh, that's so awesome. So definitely before Rubicon, you're going to have your second property. That's so cool. Well, quickly, before we get to like the scaling, when you got your first property, was it that much easier to get your second property? I mean, the first property is usually really, really hard. The second property, once we've done all the work, the second property comes so much faster. Like most students, within 2 or 3 months, it's always already the second property. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so already, you know, having everything already set up and knowing the process, you know, I already had the documents I needed ready for my lender. I already knew what my closing costs were going to look like. I already had multiple lenders lined up that I could use. And even a property manager, the second property I'm closing on tomorrow, it's literally like a 2-minute walk down the road. So I already know the area is great. I know my property manager said, hey, this one's, you know, a 4-bedroom as opposed to a 3-bedroom. So it might even be able to rent for more, you know, and just already knowing what the numbers are going to be like and what the renovation costs and timeline is going to look like. It made it to where all I needed to do was just find the next property, and then everything else just kind of fell right in place. I guess the only thing that was a little bit more challenging was so going the conventional route. My bank, you know, they look at your debt to income ratio, and unfortunately, I got my first property rented just a little bit too late, so I wasn't able to show that on my tax return. So they weren't able to use the income from that property, just the debt. And so that kind of hurt me a little bit, but I was able to get a co-signer with my dad. And so he was able to help with that, and that brought my debt to income down to where I was able to get the next property with a conventional loan.
I love it. And if anybody has a parent that would do that with them, and Lord willing, I'm going to be doing that for my children, not just necessary co-signing, but obviously helping them along the way and teaching them how to do it. But then if I need a co-sign, absolutely. In fact, my kids, I'm not going to pay for college for them, because I'm like, let's say I spend 80 grand on them to go to college. Like, that's a house I could buy and then make you money. And then you save that money, buy another one. And then we keep doing it. And eventually you don't even need to ever have gone to college. Like, I will definitely teach them how to make money better than any college or university would. And at the same time, being a good, you know, person in society and all that good stuff. And my kids are coming to Rubicon, and the 2 older ones are going to be helping at Rubicon, because that's what my vision is. We homeschool. In fact, let me say it the better way. I have the easy job of making money. My wife has a hard job of homeschooling the kids. But now when it comes to business, they're along with me and I'm showing them every single step of the way. And so I'm really glad to meet your dad at RootCon. And that's so awesome that he did that to help you to get over that, because he sees the business model. You're already proven it once, and now being able to do it again. Now, there is another thing that in our student success area where we have the financing, there are companies now that I'm really grabbing onto and bring them in, and they do DSCR loans, debt service coverage ratio loans, which offline we could definitely talk about this, but those are fantastic because they're not on your credit, they're on the property. How well is a property going to do? And so I don't know how long those will be around, so we got to take advantage of them as much as we can. But once you get into a conventional 30-year fixed, you know your expenses are accounted for, your rents just go up, your expenses stay fixed. So that is super awesome. Now talk to me about scaling. Now, moving forward to getting your next property and the next property, what's your vision for the next, let's say, 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, so I kind of have, so I set, when I first started, I set a couple goals for myself, and it's kind of funny how closely reality aligned with those goals. The first goal I set for the first property was to close by July 1st, and ended up closing on that on August 2nd of last year. So I missed it a little bit, and but just having those goals, psychologically, when you get closer to that deadline, it makes you work harder to try to achieve that. And my next goal was to get my second property by RootCon, and I'll barely make that one just by a couple of weeks. Um, but yeah, so moving forward to scale up, I think I'm definitely going to go the DSCR loan route. And I haven't, I know of a couple lenders, but I haven't started talking to them yet. I was just going to focus on trying to get this next property renovated as quick as I can and get it rented. But yeah, definitely that's what I plan on moving forward. And my goal for this year is to get one more property. So I hope to have three by the end of this year. And then I think a realistic route, if I keep going to where like I do the rehab myself, I could do 2 or 3 per year, and then I'd be able to hit my goal of retire when I'm 33 of 10 or 12 properties if I can keep getting the cash flow that I can get. And then from there I'll probably just work one more year at my job, and then probably just put in my 2 weeks.
I did the same thing. Wait. So you said by the time you're 33, so you're 23 now?
I'm 28.
Okay, you're 20. Okay, maybe I misheard 10 years. I thought I heard 10 years. So you're 28 now, and by 33, so that's 5. Oh, I did mishear it. So 5 years, hopefully being able to be successfully unemployed and be able to provide for yourself and your family without working a job. And so I did it when I was 37. And so like I started at 27 into 28 years old. And then 37 was when I finally was able to do it. It was honestly, when I was 35, I had enough. I was just nervous because I didn't have anybody like me telling me like, hey, you could do it and all that sort of stuff and give me, insights on what to do and go. But what's great is even if I would have quit then, you still are going to beat me in being able to, Lord willing, if you're able, step by step. And what's great too, like Charles and William, who are now coaches at Master Passive Income, they're students that have become coaches because they've done so phenomenally well and they love giving and they love serving, that they are quitting so much faster than I did. And on top of that, their students are doing so much better than they did. So it's just amazing seeing this just continually helping people. Now, talk to me about RootCon a little bit. And you came, I was really blessed that you came and be a part of it. Like you took a chance and said, let me just try it. I'm going to fly all the way up to Phoenix and take a part. You took a chance. And it was, I learned a ton. It was great hanging out with you and lots of other people. And then 2023, we're doing it again. Talk to me about your experience at RootCon.
Yeah, so for me, I probably had a little bit different experience than a lot of people. I ended up, it was the first time I'd ever like flown by myself, and the previous year was the first time I flew ever. It was with my wife on our honeymoon to Florida. So it was like my second time flying on a plane, and here I am flying out of Chicago O'Hare, which was actually pretty smooth. But yeah, for me, I ended up booking like some of the only flights available because I booked a little bit later. So I ended up having to, leave at 2 a.m. to drive to Chicago airport and then fly to Phoenix and all that. So all that was probably more stress than I probably should have put on myself. But yeah, once I was there, it was really just it was a cool experience for me because I could just really just you know get as involved as I wanted and just be able to have the freedom of be able to go up and talk to like, hey, this investor does multifamily syndications, and just being in the same room with like-minded people was just really a good experience. And all of the speakers there were phenomenal, and they were super friendly and really down to earth, and they would just they wanted to give out their information and knowledge and share their experiences with everybody. And like you said, it wasn't a sales pitch at all. It was literally just you know a community getting together and sharing and helping other people grow. So it was,
I love it,
yeah.
man. And it's going to be great to have you here with us again, and your dad as well. And so you're going to get another book, one of my books. I love giving it out. So I'm going to give it out to all the attendees, my book again. So I know you probably already read it, but you already have a copy because you came last year. Go ahead and give it out to other people. Just literally, we want to get this message out. And you remember last year, I unveiled my new goal in my life. And it's going to take forever or literally my entire life to do this. But my goal is to help 1 million people to invest in real estate and hopefully become financially independent. RubeCon is just another way of being able to do that and reaching more people. So, man, Jacob, this is just awesome. I really appreciate you growing and building your business and seeing you succeed. This is so fantastic. I really appreciate it. Do you have anything else, like any other lessons learned, any other insights that happened that you would be able to share with us so that when we're doing it, we could either learn from it and not do whatever it is like that you did?
Yeah, I would say definitely the biggest thing is, don't, one thing you say all the time is, when's the best time to plant a tree? It was 20 years ago, but the next best time is today. And I love that because you really just, people will, and I know this because I'm trying to get my friends to invest in real estate too. There's a million and one excuses why you can't do it or why you should wait. But honestly, this is something that, you do it once, you get it out of the way, and it pays you back. You're planting the seeds for, a bigger, better life. So if I knew what I knew now when I was younger, I wouldn't have went to college. It helps in some ways, but, I wouldn't have wasted the time. I would have went straight into this, and by now I would definitely already be financially independent. No, especially if I had a resource like your group, or finding like even like bigger pockets and stuff. There's just so much information out there that it's hard not to be successful if you just listen to the experts.
And what I love about you is also you took action. You said, I'm going to do it. And even though like other things didn't, like, let's say day trading or whatever it might, but you took action and you move forward, because that's where people get stuck, is they get fearful. Well, for me, I was fearful, and then I got laid off from my job, and I realized I can't let that stop me. It's so much more risky working for somebody else as opposed to putting my life in my own hands. And now looking back, praise the Lord, I did that. And now I literally have all of my life back to build my own businesses. Now I literally have 4 businesses that make me money to then buy more real estate. So yeah, it's a huge blessing. Now, Jake, thank you so much for being on the show. I want to wrap it up because I want to respect your time, and looking forward to seeing you at RubeCon 2023, and then Lord willing 2024, and then so on. So it's been fantastic having you part of the group, a part of the conference. You're just a great person to have around. All of us, like we're a community, and we all come together. Just like you said, the speakers at RubeCon, they're all genuine. They're all nice people. Basically, they're my friends. I wouldn't invite them if they were not that fit, like us, like just normal everyday people that want to be helpful. So Jake, thank you so much for being on the show, man. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dustin.